Yo, yo, yo! This is Coach L, man, and I'm coming to you again on a beautiful True Believer Tuesday where the message stays consistent. Accountability to the dream. You got to keep believing in your dream because true believers are top achievers. All right, so last night was our basketball banquet, right? And it was a great opportunity for me to acknowledge it and just give credit to all the people that helped and supported us in this run that we had, this really special run that we had this past year, right? And so, because it's the same night of the national championship game, and I know folks wanted to get out to go watch the game, we're the last, team on the docket for the night. And so I wanted to be prepared so I can just give precise, recognition so that we didn't have to burn too much time, right? So as I'm there, I made my little list, right? I made my little list and I'm like, okay, because it's important to me to give recognition to people who support us, right? And so as I'm going through, I go through the list and I'm going through systematically and just acknowledging folks and giving them credit for their contribution. So I go through the list, man, and at one point, I just kind of hit cruise control. And so I'm there just going through. And long story short, I felt it went pretty decent. And it wasn't until I got home and I was sitting on the couch watching the national championship game that I realized, man, that I blew the wide open layup that would have given us the championship, right? And you're like, what do you mean by that? So let me explain. So we started the season, right? And I said, man, I need someone to commit to doing video work for us. And so my 12-year-old son, he just says, Dad, you know what? I'll do it, right? And I'm like, wow, that's going to be a big commitment. He's like, no worries, I'll do it. So I'm like, okay. I gave him that responsibility. And so something you have to understand is because we're a homeschool team, we travel a lot and we play a lot of games in different cities and different states, right? And so that was going to be a big time commitment regardless. But here are a couple of things about Gideon that I need you to know and understand why it hurt me, man. It brought me to tears last night. And so I'm just coming so apologetic, man, to my son because he has made such a big commitment, a sacrifice for us. And this was the moment, right, where I could have given him back some recognition, right? And I missed doing that. I was recognizing folks that were not in the room and he was there. So here's a couple of things about Gideon that you should know. He's 12 years old, right? He's the only person that came to all of our games this year who was not homeschooled. Right? So that means every time we had to travel, we had to sign him out of school, take him out of school for a couple of days because we're going out of state for a couple of days. And he did all of this while taking all honors classes in school and maintaining straight A's, right? How could I have forgotten that? How could I have forgotten that, right? So I was so hurt last night, man. I was so hurt. And so it brought me to tears. And as I was recounting what happened in the banquet, do you know where Gideon was when we were standing on stage being recognized? If you guessed, you might be right. The kid was sitting in the front row with a camera trained on us, right? To capture the moment for us. So even in the postseason, he had the camera in his hand and was trained on us. He was never in front of the camera. He was always behind the camera and never complained. How could I have let him down like that, right? So what am I talking to you about this for? This is not about Gideon. It's really about grace and mercy, right? It's about grace and mercy. Do you understand how tough it is? He got up this morning. You know what the first thing this kid said to my wife? The first thing he said to my wife this morning is, Mom, tell Dad not to feel so bad about it. I understand. I don't hold it. I forgive him, right? Grace and mercy. So again, we're going to go through some stuff as you climbing, as you working, getting towards that place. There's some people are going to help you, right? And you're going to mess up sometimes. And you just have to understand that you can't hold stuff against people. You have to believe in forgiveness because you're going to need some forgiveness at some point. Grace and mercy. So again, I just want to give a shout out to Gideon. Son, I love you. I thank you for your sacrifice. I thank you for your service. I love you, man.